So uni is about to begin, which is extremely exciting. I reflected deeply on my first year of medicine at Monash University last year and came up with some advice and some lessons that I would like to pass on to incoming first year university students. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Darren and I'm a second year med student studying at Monash University here in Melbourne, Australia. Sounds a little weird saying that because I've been saying first year med student for the entirety of last year. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Darren, a first year medical student. 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 My name's Darren, a first year medical student studying at Monash University here in Melbourne, Australia. But I'm sure I'll get used to it. So I had to think about my first year of medicine and uni last year. I had a really deep think about what would I have liked to know at the start and what I learned throughout the year. And I came up with 5 major tips that I would like to pass on to you guys to help guide you and just maybe give you some insight into university as well. By the way, for those of you who are going into Monash Medicine, I am planning to make a more specific video for that as well. Of course, the two will overlap. But yeah, just a heads up, so stay tuned for that video. Anyway, let's head into the first tip. So the first tip is academically orientated, and it is to stay on top of your work. You've probably heard this a million times before, but I'll just say it again. In uni, no one's there to hold you accountable. Your lecturers, your tutors will tell you when something is released and when something is due, but they're not going to check up on you to see how much you've done. They're not going to ask you or they may, but they're not going to see what's really bothering you and really try and solve it. They're sort of just there to give the task and you figure out how to finish it. Same thing with lectures. For medicine, all our lectures were pre-recorded, which is the case with some of the lectures for other courses as well, which means that it's kind of like a YouTube video, so you don't have to watch it at a specific time, which also means it's really easy not to watch it as well. So what I recommend you guys can do is just do things that will help you finish your work on time. It may depend on the person, but it may be something like timetabling, so actually setting down time to do each lecture each week and having that same time weekly to get into a sort of school-like routine. It may be just having an accountability partner and just talking about just keeping each other accountable as well. Whatever it is that will help you finish your work. So why is this so important? I think staying on top of your work is important for 2 reasons. Firstly, as uni students, and also for me, I feel like just academia is a very big part of my life and it is an obligation that I have. So when it's not going well, I'm falling behind and not understanding what the lecturer is saying, I get really, really annoyed at myself and the fact that, I'm just not on top of my work. Also, it just feels really, really bad if when you don't understand what other people are talking about, when you don't understand what your teacher is going through. Now, the second reason why I think staying on top of your work is so important is that it really frees up other things for you to do. Because for me, when I am a bit behind on my work, when I haven't done something which I wanted to do, I can't really enjoy other things like sport or hang out with my friends as much. So I think that's why staying on top of your work is so important. So this is sort of an add-on tip to that first tip, which is to really clarify your academic goals. So for VC, most people, their goals are to just gun for the best possible marks. Whereas in uni, that sort of changes. Some people want to pull it back a bit and enjoy social life more. Other people, and the classic example is people gunning for post-grad med, will have to study really, really hard. The main thing here is to choose what you want to do. Really be self-aware as to how well you want to do, and then allocate your effort accordingly. And that just reduces your guilt and other emotional implications. So if you don't really want to do that well, then allocate your time accordingly and don't be disappointed, don't feel guilty about your marks, and don't feel guilty if you're going out more than other people, because this is what you've said to yourself, this is what I want. Of course, be free to change throughout the year, but generally, if you know what you want, then don't feel guilty about it. Or on the other hand, if you're really wanting to score really, really highly for your career aspirations or because you want to get into a particular course, then don't feel bad about sacrificing social time or whatever. This is a decision you've made purposefully, and the fact that you made it purposefully means that it is something you can really stick to and not feel any regrets about. Okay, so my second tip is a social one, and it is to go to as many social events as you like. If you see something that's interesting, go to it. I don't think you should debate between, oh, there's this one lecture I haven't quite caught up on, or should I go to this social event that a lot of my friends are already going to? Just go to the social event. Of course, I want you guys to stay on top of your work, but with first year and just with uni, but particularly first year, you have not much academic implications, and you should just really enjoy yourself. The memories you're going to make with your friends, the possibility of meeting like a partner or just meeting new people is going to be much more enjoyable. And who knows what's going to happen when you go to that fun activity, whereas if you're watching a lecture, you know what's going to happen. You're just going to sit there and take notes. Also, just something to note, the course you're studying probably has a cohort that dwarfs the med cohort. So if you're studying science or commerce, you're going to have a very, very large group of students studying that course alongside you. I think that's both a good and bad thing socially. Good because a lot more students doing the same thing as you, and you will have social events directed at science and commerce students, so you'll meet a lot of people that way. But also bad because I feel like in these large group scenarios, it's very easy to stick within your own group because you might be intimidated, and it's a little harder to talk when there's such a vast group of students, and also because you probably have friends and people from your school studying that same course, so it's easy to be in that bubble as well. I highly recommend you guys break out of that bubble and get to know people from different backgrounds, different states, different parts of Victoria, and different countries even. And the way to do that is to attend these social events, and it is a little difficult, I understand, but my third tip will help you guys out with that. My third tip is to talk to people. A couple of days ago, I was playing basketball with some supporters of the channel, some subscribers, and they mentioned to me, so they're going to first year, that during O week, it's a little intimidating to speak to other people who you don't know. It's really easy to just stick with that one mate who came with you to the event. And I'll repeat to you guys what I said to them, and that was, imagine you are that group of friends, and you're hanging there together, and suddenly someone approaches and introduces themselves and says, can we join, and where are you guys from, what are you guys studying, all that jazz. And you realize that in that position, you would be quite welcoming. I hope you would be quite welcoming. You'd be very friendly, wow, this guy has this person has the courage to come up and talk to us, and they seem quite friendly. Why not? Let's just go do these activities together. So I think it's really easy for the task to seem really intimidating when you're the one going up, but when you sort of flip the roles around, you realize that you would be quite welcoming of them, so there's no reason that the group that you're approaching would be quite harsh towards you. And if they're harsh towards you, whatever, take it. They're probably not people worthwhile becoming friends with or getting to know either. The people I was playing basketball with had some ideas for how to approach people. One of them said to just count to 3 and just do it, which I think is a fine idea. For me, the main one is to not think too much about it. Don't think too much about, do I really like these people? What's going to happen afterwards? You're just going to generate a bunch of expectations and sort of talk yourself out of doing it. I'd say before that even happens, you see a group of people, whether they're interesting, whether you just want to chat to them, whether there's someone you think is attractive there, just go up there and talk to them, and whatever else happens, happens. Remember, they're just people. If you're in their position, you'd be very welcoming of a new group. And so just go up there and do it, and who knows what will happen afterwards, but it'll be a very fun experience. And I think just in life in general, you should be able to approach new people. If you want more examples and more courage to do it, there's a good TED talk called Getting Rejected for 100 Days, which I watched, which I thought was really nice. So you can go check that out as well. Alright, so my fourth tip is more orientated towards catching up with high school friends. Especially those borderline friends who you're kind of friends with because you see them every day at school, but you don't really make an effort to hang out with them outside of that. Once you hit uni, it's a lot different. For me personally, a lot of my close friends went to Melbourne Uni, and that meant that I didn't see much of them at all. But of course, it's very unlikely that all of your close friends are doing the exact same course at the exact same uni as you. So my big tip here is that you will have to arrange time to meet them, and I highly recommend you arrange a time that's very close to the current time. So if you really want to see someone, message them, say like the day after tomorrow, 4 p.m, lunch it, wherever, are you free? I think that way you're very, very likely to actually see them. Whereas if you delay it, firstly, it's very vague, like what are we going to do, when are we doing it? And life happens, uni happens, and it usually doesn't end up happening. Also, having a routine or a hobby is very helpful as well. So this is probably more so for your close friends. For my close friends, we're in a basketball tournament together. It's going to end in like a couple weeks, but essentially we do see each other every week because of that. And like you might have volleyball socials at uni or like badminton socials, and I think that's just a really consistent way of making sure you see your friends, and it doesn't require too much planning at all because you know what time it is, you know where it's going to be, and it's just a really good way of seeing your friends often. A common hobby is useful as well, because it's really easy just to say, oh, we all like doing this, we all like playing chess, why don't we meet up and play chess together? Or we really like gaming, why don't we meet just at a mate's house? So having like weekly or fortnightly or whatever meetings that are arranged and sort of set in the calendar are really good ways of making sure you meet people who are not in your course and not in your uni and who you don't see really often if you didn't make an effort to see them. Just with the mental aspect of realizing that some of your relationships from high school won't continue, I struggled with that a bit. I missed high school life in the first semester of uni particularly, and I missed a lot of the people that I would see basically every day. Now, I think the best way to think about it is that like it's kind of life. You meet some people, you have relationships with them, and sometimes those relationships end. But I also think that I always like applying things that I've learned to the future. So the main thing I wanted to apply is just to enjoy each relationship I have now. So the people I meet at uni, like in 5 years, once I've graduated, I probably won't see a lot of them again, except it's met. But you get the gist of the idea. And the fact is I'll try and enjoy my time with them more, because that's something I wish I would have done in high school. I think I did have a really good time, but like I didn't realize how much I would miss a lot of those people. And I think the way to navigate that is to just really savor the relationships you have now, because the same thing is going to happen, years down the line again. Alright, so my final tip is to try anything you like. Try everything. Now I'm not talking about like something that's illicit, I'm talking about like hobbies or interests, or that thing in the back of your head that like you've always been wanting to do but didn't really get around to it, that kind of thing. The reason I think it's such a good time to do it now is because in first year uni and in uni you have a lot of freedom without a lot of responsibility. You don't have like a 9-to-5 job, you don't have an obligation to feed a family. Well, for most people this is the case. Whereas and at the same time you have a lot of time as well, because it's not a 8:30 to 3:15 p.m. gig like school was. So whether you have a sport you wanted to try, maybe like taekwondo, whether you want to learn chess, whether you want to learn a language, whether you want to start a YouTube channel or TikTok or like design clothes, whatever it is that you possibly want to do, do it. I also recommend you do this early as well. So similar with making a time with friends, the more you delay it, the less likely it is to happen. So if you want to join a soccer social team, literally like message your friends now and be like, who's up to do it, and you will have your team and just sign up like today or tomorrow. Sign up today. And if you want to start a YouTube channel, that's going to take a little longer, I guess, if you want to think about stuff. But like just post that first video and who knows, things may go really well. That's like a really, really important point. I highly recommend you guys take advantage of such a good opportunity that uni is to pursue any interest that you would not have such a good chance to do in the future or did not have such a good chance to do in the past. Thank you guys for tuning into today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Good luck for your first weeks of uni. Have an absolute blast. Good luck with your studying as well if you're in VC or if you're in school. If you see me, please do say hi. I'm very happy to chat with you guys, and I saw some people at the med events in the past week. But yeah, please do say hi. Good luck with all the academia, all the extracurricular things that you guys have got going on, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.